Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another Jets Media live stream. And today we got a special guest, Clay from Pantherology. He's going to give us his thoughts of the Jets-Panthers game that's coming up this Sunday, week 1 of the NFL. Clay, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. Just got up early this morning, just kind of got some coffee and ready to roll.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to have you on the stream. I'm going to try to get as many of, the opponents the Jets are going up against every week. Obviously, you are a content creator for the Carolina Panthers, and there's a lot of talk about this game right now. This is hyped up as one of the, must-watch games on Sunday. It's not on prime time. It's not going to be on a Sunday night or a Monday night that I expected. When I first saw the Jets versus the Panthers on the schedule before they announced when they're playing, I'm like, okay, if the NFL is smart, they're going to put this on a Thursday night game or a Monday night game. But instead, they give it to us week 1. And it is week 1 in Carolina. I will be there to attend, and I'm excited to get into this, guys. Make sure you check out Clay's channel down below in the description. We are, an NFL community here. Even if you're a Jets fan, go support my guy Clay down below in the description and hit that subscribe button for him. So we're going to be basically previewing the Jets-Panthers. We're going to talk about Zach Wilson. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold, Matt Rule, Robert Saleh, everything there is with this New York Jets and Carolina Panthers game that is coming up this Sunday. If you guys are not subscribed to Jets Media, please make sure you do so. I just hit 8,000 subscribers, and I want to say thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me. And, of course, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. So, first and foremost, Clay, what's your overall expectations without predicting who's going to win, or we're going to do that later on, but how are you feeling about your Carolina Panthers as a whole going into this game and in the season in particular?
I feel confident, and I hate to say, I'm not sounding cocky in any kind of way. I think confidence and cocky is different. I feel confident. I mean, the Panthers have done everything I feel like we should have done. I kind of wasn't too sure about that 8th overall pick with JC Horn. I did like the pick, though. I really wanted a left tackle there, but obviously we went JC Horn. The Sam Darnold trade I was really happy with. Obviously, before the show, we kind of talked a little bit, and I told you how I've always thought, about Sam Darnold. So, I appreciate the offseason moves we made, signing Hassan Reddick, getting guys like Frankie Louvu, who's done well this postseason, adding on Taquan Jones into. Yep, and adding on. So I thank you actually for that one. Traquan Jones coming in for the interior to help out Derek Brown, and then Hassan Reddick's going to help out Brian Burns. Brian Burns had 9 sacks last year. Then you got Hassan Reddick, who had a career high of 12.5 sacks last year for the Arizona Cardinals. Then we added on a bunch of pieces in the draft: Terrace Marshall Jr., Chuba Hubbard. So adding all these key players, I think we needed to do besides the offensive line and probably around the free safety position. Other than that, I feel pretty good. We probably could have added more at the linebacker, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty confident right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Carolina Panthers have a lot of former Jet players on your team, such as the obvious Sam Darnold. You have Robbie Anderson. You have Frankie Louvu. You have Pat Elflein. I'm pretty sure you have a couple other guys. So what's your thoughts about those players in particular? Sam, Robbie Anderson, Frankie Louvu, and all these former Jets on the Carolina Panthers.
Well, Frankie Louvu, number one, I want to start with him first. It's just because Frankie Louvu, we didn't know what to expect with this linebacker core. We signed a Denzel Perryman from the Chargers, but then we ended up cutting him because he can't stay healthy. And then, we get Frankie Louvu. We're not sure what's going to happen with him. Obviously, he had a pretty good career with the Jets when he was there. He was pretty decent. And then he came over this postseason, and he shined every preseason game he played in. And so having him step up for the linebacker position, especially where we need him.
Clay, you there?
Yep.
I think it
Sorry
lagged a little
about
bit.
that. I don't know what happened.
You're
there.
good.
All right, we're good.
Oh,
But yeah, Robbie Anderson, I love Robbie Anderson. He's obviously a stud at wide receiver. Had over 1,000 yards last year, coming into his first year as Carolina. So for him to, step up like that is awesome. Who else did you say? Oh, Sam. So let's get to Sam. Now, this is obviously the biggest name probably coming out from the Jets. Like I said, I've supported Sam ever since y'all drafted him back in 2018 with the 3rd overall pick. I thought he was going to be another Josh Allen-esque kind of guy. Obviously, he hasn't lived up to that due to the fact, I think, that he was just put in a position that, unfortunately, he was not in a winning position. Now that he is here in Carolina, we got Sean Ryan, the quarterback coach, who used to coach Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson. So I think that's a positive there. Obviously, he works on the offseason with the same coach Josh Allen works with, which is Jordan Palmer. So I think having all that, and then now the weapons that are around him with Christian McCaffrey, you got Chuba Hubbard, now you've got Dan Arnold, you got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, you got Terrace Marshall Jr., who's a rookie wide receiver out of LSU, who stepped up this postseason, looks really, really good for a wide receiver number 3. You got all these weapons around him. I don't know how much more he needs to be successful with all these weapons. So I'm expecting Sam to obviously do better than he did with the Jets, but this is the first year, so there's no telling.
Yeah, man. What my thoughts on Sam Darnold, and anybody that's watched my channel through like the whole, I started my channel going into the first season with Adam Gase, and that was Sam Darnold's second year. Everybody knows that I was a Sam Darnold supporter through it all. I was supporting him through all of his terrible performances. I would be like, he's going to bounce back next week, and he would not bounce back. And I would be like, oh, all right, well, I'm always wrong about Sam, I guess. But my whole perception on Sam Darnold and what happened with him with the Jets is I think that he is a physically talented quarterback. I think his issue with the Jets in particular was he was not able to process things mentally, and he would make boneheaded decisions way too frequently. And I feel like he was not seeing the field, whether that's the Adam Gase effect or the situation around him. That is absolutely a factor. But I think with Sam Darnold in particular, what he lacked is the ability to read defenses and make the right decision quickly, and he would get rattled in the pocket. I believe that Sam is one of the most talented players coming out of college in a while with his arm, his ability to throw a platform, his spatial awareness at times is great, and his pocket awareness, but at times it flutters. And I think that with the Jets, he just absolutely lost his confidence within himself and confidence in his guys and the system, and that's what really hurt him. And also, the playmakers and the protection was not good. Now, I'm really curious to see what Sam Darnold does with Carolina, because now he's surrounded with a lot of weapons. But the one concern I have with the Carolina Panthers is their offensive line. Sam does not do good under pressure. So what's your concern level with the offensive line? Do you think that they're underrated offensive line, or do you think that this offensive line is going to be, even keel for Sam?
I think it's a 50-50 kind of thing right now. It depends on how Cam Irving and Pat Affline do. You've got Cam Irving on the left tackle, then you've got Pat Affline at left guard. So, and then obviously we signed Taylor Moton, who's our, all-star right tackle. And he's been practicing at the left tackle position. They've been kind of switching him in there this offseason. I just don't know if he is obviously the solution, even if we do that, because then you leave the right side open. So basically it's going to be up to Cam Irving to make sure he steps up and obviously does his job. And then also we got Brady Christensen out of BYU, and we signed him as a rookie. We drafted him. So there's been some talks that maybe we might see him end up taking the starting position, and a lot of people are predicting around week 6, week 7 that we could probably see him there. Apparently this offseason, if you go look at his offseason stats, when he did play left tackle, he did not allow any sacks. So even though that's not against, and of course it's not against starting competition, but it's still, NFL competition. So we'll see. Like I said, with this kind of thing, and adding all these new guys, it's all you can do is say time will tell.
Awesome, man. If you guys are new to the stream, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. We have around 41 people watching right now with 10 likes. Let's see that like number skyrocket for our guy Clay. Also, make sure you subscribe to Clay down below in the description. And, of course, subscribe to Jets Media if you're not already for all the latest New York Jets news. Now, Clay, I want to hear your thoughts about the New York Jets, because we are going up against each other this Sunday. So, obviously, Zach Wilson has not played one NFL snap. He is indeed a rookie. But What was your overall thoughts about Zach Wilson coming out of BYU, and what did you see from him in preseason?
He looked pretty good, obviously, in preseason. There's a lot of comparisons, names they've thrown around about him. he wasn't my highest rating quarterback. I definitely had Trevor Lawrence at 1, Justin Fields 2. I probably would say even Trey Lance 3, and then I had Zach Wilson 4. But that's just my opinion, just because of the competition level that BYU plays. But obviously Trey Lance isn't really playing much better competition either. But from this offseason, he does look like he could be the franchise quarterback here as long as the Jets obviously put stuff around him. He looks like he has a strong arm. I just think that certain things with his decision making might be obviously that's just rookie mistakes, so that's going to happen in your first year. But other than that, overall, seems pretty solid, and that's another thing that time will tell. That's one of my sayings with the NFL and football. Only time will tell with a lot of things that go on. But overall, I do like Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be a solid player.
Yeah, man. As you know, the Jets drafted Sam Darnold in 2018, and just 3 or 4 years later, we end up replacing him with Zach Wilson. So, as a New York Jets fan, we've been waiting to get our franchise quarterback for my entire life as a younger Jets fan. And I thought Sam Darnold was the guy. I crowned him a little prematurely, and then he went out there, and Adam Gase was hired, and we all know the story. So now let's get more into our matchup against each other this Sunday, week 1. So what are you looking out for? What advantages do you think that the Jets have over the Panthers, if any, that you think the Panthers really need to focus in on in order to win this game?
I think it's the line. So I think it's the interior offensive line versus the New York Jets interior defensive line. I think that's something that you need to watch out for. The New York Jets interior defensive line is very, very good. They are very good at stopping the run. The only thing is the matchup wise that I think that Carolina is that's probably going to expose is your secondary, just because when you've got 3 guys like DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson and Terrace Marshall running up against this secondary, I think that's the matchups that I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, obviously. That's a matchup that I'm looking forward to. But I think it's the run game and the interior offensive line versus y'all's interior defensive line. And then I kind of give the advantage for y'all. But with the wide receiver core of the Carolina Panthers versus the secondary the Jets, I kind of give the advantage to us there. So those are the 2 matchups I would say to look out for, because that could be a difference in this game.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because in my Jets-Panthers flight preview video, that's exactly what I said. I think the Jets have the advantage in this game with their Jets defensive line against the Panthers offensive line, and the Panthers have the advantage when it comes to their receivers against our young secondary. So that's really what it's going to be all about. I think that this Jets defensive line, obviously we know that Carl Lawson is out for the season with the ruptured Achilles, and then we lost Vinny Curry for the season as well. We replaced him with Shaq Lawson. We got guys like Quinnen Williams, who is entering year number 3 and had an extremely well sophomore season. We're expecting big things from Quinnen. We went out there and signed Sheldon Rankins, who is a monster interior. He's coming off a really good season. Actually, he was injured for the past 2 years, but he was dominant when he was healthy. So we're hopeful that he can stay healthy all season long. And then we got guys like John Franklin Myers on that defensive line. A lot of guys that Jets fans are really excited for, and we are just all about getting to the quarterback with this Robert Saleh system. And what this system means for the Jets defense is if we cannot get pressure on the quarterback, the defense is just going to fail. We need to make sure we get to Sam Darnold, because if we don't, he's going to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. He's going to get the ball out of his hands to Christian McCaffrey, to Robbie Anderson in space. And that's what worries me as a Jets fan in terms of the defense. With the Jets offense, I'm really excited to see what this Jets offensive line can do against your Panthers defensive line. I know that you guys got a lot of players up there, and this Jets O-line, it's like in year number 2 with the rebuild, we got 2 really solid guys on the left side that Jets fans are excited for the future. Mekhi Becton, that left tackle spot, Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard. We think that that's hopefully going to be the foundation for the future. And then we're hopeful that this Jets interior offensive line can hold up their ground as well, because what this Jets offense is all about is running the ball. We are replicating basically the 49ers offense with the Shanahan style, and the Packers and the Rams. It's that tree. Our new offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, is here. And Jets fans are just excited to see a different offense, because as you know, Clay, the Jets had Adam Gase for 2 years. And Jets fan had to suffer through the worst X's and O's, the worst offensive scheme we can ever imagine. So we're just excited to see some pre-snap motions and some competent offense. And it's all about the Jets, running the ball. So what are your thoughts about this Jets offense? Obviously, we are extremely young. We have a rookie quarterback. We have a rookie receiver in Elijah Moore, who I'm extremely high on. We have Corey Davis, who I'm really high on as well. Is going to be our number one receiver. And the offensive line looks pretty legit in terms of their potential. I'm not expecting them to be dominant in this game. I think it's going to take them a couple games throughout the season for them to really become legit. But what's your expectations for this Jets offense? Or what do you think the Panthers defense need to really hone in on to make sure we don't put up a lot of points?
I mean, is it just me, or does Zach Wilson look like the dude that reminded the teacher that homework was due? You know?
I know he has that baby face still.
Yeah, like he looks like a Disney star that like would do a movie about Zach Wilson's life, and like a Disney movie. But for the Jets, like my expectations for y'all, man, you're kind of like almost in the same boat we are, almost. Like last year, people didn't really think that we were in a rebuilding year, but we were, because even with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, even within, you're getting a new coach, or you're adding a different offensive coordinator, a whole different coaching staff. Yeah. So, we are kind of rebuilding, unfortunately, and we still kind of are, but we're kind of, I feel like, in a better position than we were last year. But for the Jets wise, my expectations for y'all this year is just to take it one step at a time. Try to do as much as you can to obviously, for Zach Wilson to be successful, obviously get adding pieces around him and keep adding on to that defense, because that's what your coach is about, defense. So for us, though, to make sure we don't score any points, I think, obviously, I think we have to do the same thing, run the ball. When you have CMC back there and you have Chuba Hubbard and those guys like that, that's really what this team needs to kind of focus on, to open up the pass for Sam Darnold to get comfortable back there, to get the ball out of his hands. I think for y'all, even though your offensive line, that you built your offensive line up, I honestly think still, though, that Carolina's defense is still going to be getting pressure on Zach Wilson. I predict that, when you have Brian Burns and you got Hassan Reddick, you got Derek Brown, you got Jeremy Chin, you got J.C. Horn, you still have Dante Jackson, you've got all these guys that are talented. I really think that your matchup the most is if you can stop Brian Burns, you can. You're going to have to figure out a way to stop Hassan Reddick. If you can, that's the problem there. You pick your poison, right? Either you stop Burns or you're going to have to stop Reddick, one or the other. And obviously Frankie Louvu stepped up. So I think if we can get obviously with any game, it comes with the line. So the front line. So I think that the defense, if you can stop our defense from getting to Zach Wilson, I think that, y'all are going to have opportunities to obviously win this game. I think it's going to be close, though. I did have it a while back when I first looked at it. I thought Carolina was going to kind of beat him 31-17, but I'm kind of changing my mind on that now, looking at things, because I just don't want to be too cocky, but I am confident in my team.
Yeah, as you should, man, as you should. And it does bring up a lot of interesting points. There's so many things to look at, whether it's the line of scrimmage of the Jets, young, inexperienced offensive line going up against, Brian Burns and your entire Panthers front seven, which are pretty stacked right now. I think it's all going to be about who's going to win the line of scrimmage. Whoever wins that battle will probably win the game. And that's pretty much any football game in particular, because if you can protect your quarterback and if you can set up holes for your running back, offensively speaking, you're going to put your offense in a good situation. And then defensively, if you can absolutely get to the quarterback and plug the run, then you're putting yourself in a good situation. So I feel like the Jets have the advantage in terms of their Jets defensive line against the Panthers offensive line. And when you flip it around with the Jets offensive line and the Panthers defensive line, that's going to be a really interesting matchup. I think the Panthers have the edge because they have, more experience on that defensive line, and we're still trying to, get some chemistry. We did not have Elijah Vera Tucker at all in preseason. He was battling a chest injury, but he is back and he is a rookie. So it's really hard for us Jets fans to put this Jets offensive line saying like, oh, we're going to be able to protect Zach. But the one thing about this Jets offensive line that I'm very comfortable with, that I can say this, is their ability to open up holes in the run game. I think this Jets offensive line, that's where they're going to really become really good in this league. Mekhi Becton in that outside zone run scheme is going to be out there pancaking people. I really feel like we are going to establish a run game early. We got veteran Tevin Coleman. We got Ty Johnson entering year 3. A lot of Jets fans are high on him. And then the rookie Mike Carter out of UNC. And I just feel like this, if we cannot establish a run on offense, then the Jets offense is going to fall apart. It's that simple. If the Panthers defense completely plugs the holes, they get pushed off the line right away, and they do not let the Jets run the ball, then I would like your chances going in and shutting down this Jets offense, because then they're going to be forcing the ball in Zach Wilson's hands, and that's the last thing I want. I want to make sure that we do not put too much pressure on Zach in his debut. I want to make sure that we can establish a run game, make him a game manager. Maybe he has to, throw the ball explosively for 3 or 4 times, but I don't want him to be playing from behind or throwing the ball 50 times this game. And hopefully that will happen as a Jets fan speaking. But let's get into your expectations from Sam and Zach in terms of this season, but outside of this game in particular. So what are you expecting? I think that, you're expecting Sam to have his best career year so far, because his first 3 years were a little underwhelming. And then what are you expecting from Zach in year one as well?
So for Sam, I think just expectations wise, I will give you a little quick stat line here. I kind of expect him to, throw for over, I think 3,600 yards at least. I think he'll have at least that, about 28 touchdowns and probably around 12 to 13 interceptions. A lot of people think he might throw for over 4,000 yards. If that happens, great. That's good for me. Obviously, then we're doing something right. For Zach Wilson, I expect him to come in here and just try to learn. Don't try to rush anything. I think that's what's the problem with rookie quarterbacks, especially when they first come in, is they just try to, be Mr. Hero when you don't really need to be Mr. Hero. You need to learn. You need to learn the schemes. You need to learn the defense. Learn the playbook. Just basics, and just kind of just learn. And that's basically I expect from Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson will put up some nice numbers. I think he'll have a decent rookie season. But again, I always say time will tell.
Time will tell indeed. So before we end off the stream, let's just bring up, the elephant in the room, that this is basically a very emotional game. It's more than just week one. Sam said it's not an emotional game in his eyes. He has nothing to prove. It's just any other Sunday. But there's definitely some emotions tied into this. And it's not like we are division rivals. It's not like this is for the division. It's not like this is for the playoffs at all. Jets and Panthers versus every 4 years. We have no rivalry in between us. But now, since the fact that you have our ex-quarterback and we have to go up against each other week one, when I saw that we're versing you guys week one, I was like, really? Like, first of all, I want to root for Sam this year, and I can't root for him week one. And it's just going to be a very emotional game. I think everybody's going to be tuning in. They're going to be curious to see what happens in this matchup. Everybody in the NFL, media world, they're going to be tuning in. The Panthers are the favorites in this game. As they should, because the Jets are coming off a 2-14 season. But the one thing I will say is this is not the same old Jets last year. Everything is brand new. So what's your thoughts about this game being a little emotional in terms of Sam going up against his former team? And then Zach, he has something to prove as well, because he's going up against the guy that they thought that the Jets moved on from. And we are replacing Sam with Zach. So Zach has something to prove as well. But the one thing I will say to Jets and Panthers fans, no matter what happens in this game, you can't judge the decision saying like, all right, say Zach goes off and then we win and Sam doesn't look good. You can't be like, yeah, we made the right decisions. Zach's better, or vice versa. Sam goes off and Zach doesn't look good. Yeah, see, the Panthers right. I just feel like we got to tame the expectations. Let the entire season play out. We cannot base that decision the Jets made on one game.
Yeah. I think that Sam's gonna be fine. I think that, I'm glad, like with the whole storyline thing, I'm glad that this is it. Like I like the storyline behind this. It's a great storyline. Like you said, being a former Jet, going through the Adam Gates era, going through hard times there, getting mono because he was kissing too many women in New York, I don't know, man. Like for me, they asked him how he felt about, the media asked Sam how he felt about the whole thing. And we mentioned that earlier, and he didn't really bash the Jets about it, which is obviously a good thing, which obviously he respects the Jets organization still. But I'm glad that he said that he doesn't feel that this is a revenge game, that he's only focused on the New York Jets and winning the game. And that's what I would rather him think about than sitting there and having all this pressure. Oh, this is a revenge game. Like I need to, win this game because what happened there. I wanted him to be as much relaxed as possible, right? Because if he has that mindset the way that he was talking at media day, that's a good thing going into this game week 1. For Zach Wilson, yeah, he's the number, he was the number 2 overall pick. That's a big deal. When you come in as the first, second overall pick, obviously you don't want to have another Jamarcus Russell kind of ordeal where this guy came in and he was supposed to be some stud and then he just did nothing, right? So, like I said, for Zach Wilson, at the end of the day, for him, he just needs to take it one step at a time, listen to your coaches, and just be patient. Because I think that a lot of the times, like I said before, I think a lot of the times these rookie quarterbacks try to rush it, and look what happens. Because it's very rare when a rookie quarterback comes in there and just dominates.
It is rare. I feel like Jets fans need to tame their expectations. We're getting a little hyped up because you look very good in preseason, but this offense for the Jets is so young. We have a rookie offensive play caller, a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookies all over the place. And then with the Panther side of things, I'm excited to see what Sam Darnold can do with this offense. I'm excited to see what he can do with weapons. I'm excited to see what he can do with an actual offensive mind and Joe Brady. I feel like Sam's going to be good for you guys. I really do. I mean, you have the best running back in football. It's really hard to not be good when you can rely on him that much. And Sam just got to be smart with the football. I think the only thing holding Sam back as an NFL quarterback in this league is the decision-making and the overall ability to process things quickly. I think that was his issue. If he can get that going, if he can have confidence in his playbook and he understands where to go with the ball and he can scan the right, the reads, I think he'll be a good quarterback in this league. And hey, he has damn Christian McCaffrey on his team. He can check it down to CMC and he takes it 80-yard to the house, and that's an 80-yard touchdown in Sam Darnold's book. So, I think Sam's going to have a pretty decent year this year. I'm excited to see what he can do. That's going to wrap up the stream, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you smash that like button. We really do appreciate it. Clay, is there anything you'd like to say before we end the stream about this game or anything in particular going on your channel?
Just going to give you my final prediction. I think it's going to be close. Just real quick. I think that Sam Darnold, is going to have his opportunities as long as the pass protection is good. And if he isn't, he'll just keep giving the ball to CMC. So I think the Jets will become better as the game goes on, but I don't think they're obviously not there yet. I think Wilson will be entertaining, and I think the offense will have its moments. You know what I mean? And then the rookie arrows, I think, will start to begin, and Darnold will be fine. He will make his own mistakes as well. But I think Carolina wins here, but the Jets will have their opportunities, and I got the score of a Carolina 27-20 victory. And I think that thanks for having me, man. Like, I appreciate you having me on, and this was awesome.
Yeah, man, Clay, I definitely appreciate you tuning in and pulling up to a Jets Media live stream. I love collabing with all these NFL content creators all around the league. Guys, make sure you go down below and subscribe to Clay at Pantherology. Means a lot to him, means a lot to me. We got a lot of great things in this NFL community world. And yeah, my prediction in this game, on my channel, I have the Jets winning in a defensive game, 17-14. We will see if that's going to happen. Obviously, Clay, I'm going to have my Jets winning week 1 or not. I do every year. But yeah, I'll be down in Charlotte. I'll be down there representing my Jets. I'm excited for this game. But NFL is back, man. We got Thursday Night Football starting tonight. The vibes are good around the NFL world. It just feels good to have football back. So, guys, that does it for the stream. Make sure you like it if you enjoyed. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next time at a Jets Media live stream. Peace out and have a great day.